You guys are live now.
So. Do we know this person in our real life?
Would you like to?
Yes, make it happen.
So wait, whose hair is that
and before you played, you were...
So anything you say now is being recorded. That's John.
I think that haircut will look really good on John.
That's what we heard about was the Swicketeen. It was the hottest new jiu-jitsu move, you know what I mean?
Doesn't look like a terrorist.
Nice.
With some little blonde highlights.
That's a very stylish terrorist.
Yeah, right?
Very.
With the stylish
Muhammad Jihad Turgut. Muhammad GQ Turgut.
Nice.
That's better.
Before you know it, you're out, you're a has-been. You're a has-been.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tim. I think the Phillies are going to go all the way.
Again,
And, you know, sometimes I think that, you know, there shouldn't be a fire sweep this early in the season. We should mix things up a little bit, maybe put things in place for next year because, you know, the Phillies, they've struggled with their second round pitchers. I mean, what the hell are they doing putting Cumberbund in? I mean, I thought he was just an actor in some
2 years ago he was like a ball boy.
Right? And he was just playing with his own balls. He wasn't even touching everybody else's. Are we on?
No. Well, you know, it's like John Madden. It's like he's like, well, the team
This is Tim Cumberbund of the Phillies, and you're listening to Curtain Call with
You're listening to Curtain Call. Got 1 minute.
the team that has the highest score at the end of the game is undefeated.
You know, don't answer
So not just if you
Don't ask me.
Ask that question.
Hey, dude, I was listening to it on the way, and I was like, this guy's got it
I
covered.
wish.
You had a show last night, right?
Wait, did I? Just kidding. Yeah, I did.
All right, let's put it on.
There was a show. Run that either, we'll put it on. It's all yours after that.
Okay, you can just hit it if you want.
Okay, now.
KSHP, North Las Vegas.
You guys are gonna have to roll the mic around. We're not talking to you for a while though.
That's what I'm talking to me about.
It's a surprise.
You should start with you. So tell us about Joseph, and you'd be like,
I saw one
Well.
rehearsal.
Alright, guys.
We're going to have to watch our mouths a little bit because we're going to get biblical this week. We got the Joseph, the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in the studio. It's Curtain Call with Eric Ball.
Go Genesis, yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to Curtain Call with Eric Ball. With me, as always, is Glenn Heath and Carrie Ann Parks.
Hey, what's your favorite book of the Bible? Since
Well, gosh,
because I always like
Only
Leviticus
one?
myself.
Leviticus.
The first one. That's the one with all the weird rules.
And all the kinky stuff.
That's
You would be like, oh, the book with all the rules sucks. I like the book with all
Job
the
is my
partying in
favorite.
it.
Job, the book of Jobs. That one's great.
With Jobs, like it's the yellow pages. or
Deuteronomy.
No.
Neuter on her.
My
Something
cat
like
hates that book. Anyways,
and we've gone downhill.
we haven't even been on it.
That's a record.
10 seconds, and we are already going to hell.
Yep.
We're already.
Well, I was going there for a while, so it's nice. I'm gonna have some time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, save us a seat, Glenn.
I
Oh,
figured I'd
I'm
be-
first class.
I don't think I'm going to hell because I work at a Lutheran school, so I figured I'll probably be like the tilt-a-whirl worker in purgatory somewhere. You know, they'll just be throwing wood chips down and sweeping it up. For
Actually,
eternity.
you'll be the guy sitting there in limbo that all the rest of us just throw popcorn at as we're going down.
Or I'll work at the gate and I'll be like, here's your Who tickets and 3D glasses, welcome to heaven. Here's your Who tickets and 3D glasses, welcome to heaven. You know, to everybody.
Wait. I'm sorry. If Roger Daltrey and Peter Townsend are going to heaven, I'm going to heaven too.
I just picked the first because I figured, I don't know. I figured. Anyways, welcome. This is a Curtain Call every Sunday from 6 to 8. We get a chance to invade your house and tell you all about what's going on in the local community theater scene here in Las Vegas. And this week we have in the studio, we're very fortunate, and I was surprised that we were even able to get these people because we have absolutely no connection to this project whatsoever.
Wait. For those of you watching now on YouTube,
Oh my God! He's completely... Okay, we have artistic director...
which will be later.
Yeah. Artistic director of Stage Door Entertainment and fearless leader of the upcoming Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat musical at a Super Summer Theater, Terrence Williams. And the star of the show, Jenn De La Torre. She's playing the narrator. Yay, so welcome. And then joining us as well is Elizabeth Aaron Matthews, who is here because she is brilliant, and that is all.
And so
And had nothing else to
she's
do on a
okay.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now, welcome, guys. And guys, just go ahead and swing that back and forth, as you... Don't kiss it. Just swing it back and forth. But anyways, welcome. I want to talk to...
Wow, were you guys this interesting on LV Taps?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
very much
good.
so.
But we were all scared that we were going to get scooped by LV Taps.
Well, and we're getting them live, and
Yeah.
our friends over there got the earlier interview, so that was a good rehearsal for them to now be able to refine their answers
and a quick
speak-
plug.
and
You
speak
can listen
them
to
live.
LV Taps on Monday. They usually put their show out on Monday. So,
Yay.
all right. And another quick plug. Go to McDonald's. Now, I had nothing to do with anything. Let's talk a little bit about Joseph, because if you don't know the musical, the famous Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, then you're an ostrich and your head has been buried underneath the earth. This is certainly a known show. It's certainly a very family-friendly show, something that everybody can enjoy. But this one's a little bit different.
Now, how would you even know, Eric? That this one's going to be a little bit different.
I've been told through the grapevine.
Been told through because you and I have absolutely no idea whatsoever about
This joke's
show.
getting old. We'll just tell you. Glenn and I are actually in the show.
Surprise!
Surprise! Glenn's in a show. Wow.
Wait, you do something other than teach and talk on the radio?
Yeah. Occasionally, I build model trains. But anyways, we're in the show, and we've been rehearsing over the last month and a half or so, and it's been going really, really well. But I'm going to turn the microphone over to Terrence for a second. This one has a I'm personally hoping that the marketing for the show and people's kind of word of mouth and getting actual proverbial butts in the grass over at Super Summer Theater, I'm hoping that the appeal on the onset will give them means to actually make the truck out there alone, let alone the fact that Super Summer is awesome and the musical's awesome and you have a reputation putting on quality entertainment. So it's kind of like, what's different about this? I'll let, in your own words, you describe it.
Joseph was written in 1970, so it's approaching 42 years old, which is older than I am. And when I first heard the show, when I was a kid and heard the show, I thought, oh, this is cute, it's interesting. When I directed the show in the 90s, late 90s, it felt dated already, and now even more so. Just the music is tied to that time period. It's tied to the early 70s. A lot
Donny
of cheesy
Osmond
tracks.
era, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey.
No offense to Donny.
No
Because
offense to
he
Donny.
could very well be listening, and
Definitely.
probably is.
and it would be awesome if he comes
Donnie,
out.
listen,
to
if
see
you
the
are
show.
listening, I
coming
want
out.
you to know this whole radio show is a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
I'm wearing purple socks for the occasion.
I don't get that one.
So,
Wow, I feel old.
are you old?
Moving.
Well, no,
Let's talk about that.
the purple socks reference was completely. Just like I don't get it.
I don't even.
Just don't go into Peter, Paul, and Mary references again.
Oh, if
If
I only had a hammer for every
Oh,
time I heard
okay.
that.
Sorry.
Hey, sorry,
Jimmy,
Jimmy.
we're interrupting.
So, what we wanted to do was take the show, and the story is a fascinating story. The story of one of 12 brothers who gets betrayed by his brothers, and then it turns around and they end up back kneeling at his feet begging for food. It is a very interesting story, but if it gets lost in the translation of the music and how it doesn't correspond to modern audiences, then what good is the story? So we wanted to do something with the music to keep people watching, to keep people interested. In our case, on the lawn, we'll keep them sitting up instead of lying down asleep.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know.
Well, that's cool. And I will say, just personally, talk about expanding my comfort zones. I mean, this show certainly has kept me on my toes. Glenn plays Potiphar and what brother?
Simeon.
Simeon, yeah. And I play Pharaoh and Jacob, and Jen's narrating the whole thing. And
pretty much on stage for
I would say
90% of the show, with the exception of a couple of songs.
Right.
I would say about 2 songs I'm not on stage.
Are you changing very quickly off stage or something?
I'm not sure yet. As far as changing, but I
We're
definitely
still
drink
only on the first
lots
song.
of water in between. Definitely a good opportunity for water.
Like a boxer in the corner.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna be putting Gatorade in your mouth.
Just
throat
holding a
coat,
bucket
neti
up.
pot, whatever.
Cut me!
I can't see, Polly. I can't see.
Adrian Joseph!
It could work that.
Yeah.
So what can they expect? I mean, I'm going to ask this of both of you. What can an average audience member expect from this new kind of reapproached version of Joseph?
That it just pretty much pays tribute to all of the rock legends.
Rock legends like Donny Osmond? Like
Neil
no,
Sedaka,
no, nothing like that.
Paul Williams.
I'll go on the record and say
The
it's going to
big
be a
ones.
little bit harder rock feel than Joseph. Because Joseph has a little bit of a kind of a soft rock feel.
Well,
to it.
early 70s,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, Terrence. This wasn't written to be what it was. It was started out as like a workshop piece.
It
or
did.
something,
It started with a
something
middle school workshop
Yeah.
piece and grew out of that. I
Be a
call it
middle
very
school.
Fleetwood Mac originally. So.
And we all just sit here going, Fleetwood
Well,
Mac.
no. Fleetwood Mac has a huge history and have had 7 different lead singers over the years. And so they're
I don't care.
depending on who's
I'm
singing.
sorry, I know that's mean.
Stevie Nicks sounds like a goat, but everyone else,
But there's a reason I say
Different
that,
sound.
which is that if anybody actually did listen to that music back then, I'm
Yeah.
sure someone here did.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Their style changed throughout their entire course. Like it was constantly different because there was always somebody different helming the ship.
Well, in the old, I'm going to refer to it as the old version of Joseph, the traditional version
The
of
original
Joseph,
version.
the original version. It kind of every song, every episodic moment in the show as we bounce from stage to stage, there, it has its own little feel. We have like kind of a Jamaican style. We got a kind of a French style. We got and it's kind of a caricaturish turn on that type of music. It's not
Really catchy tunes. Too.
Yeah, it's really catchy.
Once it gets stuck in your head.
But like Terrence said, it's fairly dated.
It's
and,
very
and
dated,
to me,
yeah.
no offense, Terrence, it's not one of my favorite shows because it's very sugary.
Why are you doing
Because I like working with you, Terrence.
Gloves are off. Go.
And for some silly reason, you cast me. So,
Where's my bell?
but ding. Take that back.
No.
Having I own a copy of the Donny Osmond recording, and it is my teeth hurt.
Yeah, it's very
Watching
sugary.
it.
It's very.
Yes.
It's very. It's meant to. I think it's a
And-
derivative of what it originally started off as. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It really is kind of a. It was a workshoppy thing that was done for an elementary school, so wide arrays of audience demographics could enjoy it. And I would say that particular element of it has still held true through the test of time. But it really is kind of a Disney Main Street Parade musical.
Which is why I love it.
Yay! And there's room for that. I think that's great, and that's why it's wonderful for all audiences to bring their families, friends, dates. Oh my gosh. I mean, under the moon.
I'd say yes. Take a date, but that's like taking
Warn
a
them
date to go.
Warm them.
I took a date to a Blair Witch Project. Complete wrong segue.
That's
I
a
know.
I was just like, don't do that. That really-
Did you wear your purple socks on the day?
I'm sorry. My hat's a little tight today.
Yeah. So this particular version of Joseph that's coming up, it is a rock version.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And what challenges did this? I mean, when you first got the bid to do this show, I mean, a lot of people don't know that Super Summer Theater acts kind of as a figurehead and venue. And what they do is they accept bids from different directors, theater companies, and the like in town for the opportunity to produce a show out there. And they usually do 3 or 4. Lately, it's been 4.
And this bid came in over a year ago. So
Yeah, and so now when you bid this show, did you bid Joseph and other shows, or did you just bid Joseph, or were you surprised when they picked this one? How did this come to fruition?
I generally bid 3 to 4 shows each season. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. It's one of those kind of things, like something classic, something contemporary. the producing organization has a list of shows that they have an interest in, but you're allowed to bid anything else as well. Joseph was on the list of shows that they had an interest in, and I said, well, I'll pick something off this list too. Let me send that. But when I sent the bid, I had already put in there that I was interested in, doing something a little different with it musically. And so they selected the show, but apparently not everyone on their board saw that note. And so once we started doing pre-production on the show, they're like, what are you talking about?
What is this old-fangled rock and roll that you're talking about?
You're too darn loud.
I'm afraid you're too darn loud. What is that? Back to the Future. Got it. Afraid you're too darn loud.
There were people volunteering to give us Elvis capes and...
Nice.
I've got the Dreamcoat I used when I played Joseph in '09.
It's about right, though. Everybody has a Joseph coat. Everybody has.
You know what? I will be wearing my version at some point next week.
I'm so
I haven't
excited.
brought it out, but I do have.
I have a Joseph coat in my classroom too. We should all just wear Joseph coats.
Mine's a Technicolor poncho, but
mine's a Technicolor jean coat, jean jacket.
Wow.
I have actually been offered at least 8 different coats from different productions. People are like, do you need a coat? I've got a coat. And they send a photo, and I'm like,
no.
There are things, that they have in common, but they all each have their own style, and I'm like, doesn't fit what I'm looking for. Okay, great, moving on.
I was looking for a Technicolor Dream mess.
Terrence, how long have you had this idea? And I know the answer, but our audience does not.
I don't know. I'm
no,
so curious.
Are you in suspense?
What's the question?
Terrence,
so excited.
This is not the first time Terrence has directed this show, obviously, and he mentioned that a few moments ago. Is this your third time directing? Or?
Second.
Only second, okay. But you've had an idea for a long time to do this version, and
Absolutely.
how did it's taken years? How did you finally get it to this point where?
I find most directors don't really like to direct the same show twice. I directed this show back in the late 90s, almost 2000 era for a Christian high school whose choir director was looking for a star feature for her son, who was a senior. So she decided they would do Joseph, and he would be Joseph. It was amazing.
Go, Caleb! You know what they said,
But did
or
they
whatever
have
his name was.
12 other guys?
They did. They had never done a show before. It was a choir.
Okay.
And so their choir put on Joseph, and I directed it.
I would have been loved to have been a fly on the wall in that meeting. We'd like to hire you to direct this show for the school, but you will cast my son in the lead. And here's your stipend.
It was a great point of contention.
Yeah.
I actually insisted that I refused to outright cast him in it. And I said, look, if he's that good, he'll get the part. And actually, he earned the part. It was fine.
Okay. The point is moot.
But if he hadn't, it probably would have been, I may not have been the director for much longer.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I did this production, and we had a lot of fun with it. It was traditional Joseph with a 13-piece orchestra, and some cheesy tunes, some fun tunes, some serious tunes. The audience loved it, and the kids were asleep. It was my reaction in the audience,
Yeah, and it's like, as far as old school musicals go, the Oklahomas, the South Pacifics, or whatever. There's an awful lot of talk about why we need to do more experimental work in the city. As far as theater companies in general across the board and everything. I think there's a place for tried and true Broadway style musicals, however you want to bill them. And this is one that like Oliver just finished up at Super Summer Theater, and they did a version of Oliver.
A little non-traditional.
I would say, but they did a very traditional version about a half a year ago. Before that, at another venue, I can't remember where. And then 2 years ago, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rainbow Company did Joseph, and theirs was a very traditional Joseph, very traditional.
Well, and if you're going to do Jesus, musicals by Andrew Lloyd Webber, this is usually not the one that you think of first.
That would be because this is the Old Testament.
Oh, I was going to say, it's not Jesus.
Get to
in
the
Amazing
Gospel.
Technicolor.
No, it's true.
Oh, look at me, I'm being schooled.
Your religious knowledge is lacking.
Well, that would be quite apparent by now.
But back to your question. A good friend, Jameson Boyce, was the musical director for me at this high school production in Georgia. And he used to mess around in rehearsals and say, wouldn't this song sound so much better if it sounded like this? And he'd just start banging out the same tune, but in a different style. Yeah. And it was very energetic and fun. And I would listen and I'd be like, stop playing that stuff, because it makes me upset that we can't do that.
Yeah.
And there was no way we could pull off just, hey, let's adapt this music right now on the fly 2 weeks before we open. So when I submitted the bid and when I got the bid, I called him up and I was like, hey, remember when we used to fool around at the keyboard? What if I paid you to do that? And now he's actually the musical director for Ringling Brothers nationwide.
Oh, wow.
He's grown quite a lot as a performer as well.
If you're listening in Georgia, your dreams too can come true.
There you go.
Except for the Civil War thing.
Yeah, you're going to want to avoid that.
Hey, the South will rise again.
So anyways, he's still working for Ringling Brothers then?
He is. He is.
You know, just stepping away from the calliope has got to be a relief. Yes, I'll do it. Jesus, you got it. You know, he just goes to town. That sounded funnier in my head.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, go on.
So, you know, he started, churning out song after song of updated music, and then would even send like demo tracks where he's playing every instrument, like in true workshop style.
Wow.
You know, it's Jamie on drums, Jamie on bass, Jamie on 2 guitars, Jamie on keyboards. But it started developing, and we started tweaking little things, and it's turned into something that's really unique, something that's its own.
Oh, wow.
And so it still helps the story move along, and it still has styles. There is a country song, and there's, but they're modified. It's more of a contemporary country song instead of a spaghetti western song.
And it's the same workers. Here's the thing. I want to be very clear, because that was my perception of the whole project, is that for some reason I had it in my head that the music has been changed. It hasn't been changed. It's just the way that it's being presented. It's the way it's being played. It's not being played. It's being played. It's a very different way of presenting it.
But musically.
But. Thank you. That's how many times you mess with me today. All right.
That's how many times you've caught on.
I guess so. Well, I tell you what, we're here in the studio with Terrence Williams and Jenn De La Torre and Elizabeth Matthews. Jen,
Here she is again.
Hi, Liz. Jen and Terrence and Glenn and I are all part of Josie Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. We've got to take a break, and we'll be right back, so hang tight.
Hello there, this is Roger Rees of New York's Peter and the Starcatcher. I'm sending you back to Eric Ball here in Las Vegas.
Sending
Nice.
That's so cool. You got him to do
If
that.
he's sending it back to you.
What's that?
That's awesome that you got that.
Yeah.
You got about 12 of them.
Roger Rees. He's pretty approachable, too. So we got to go through a few commercials here now. You're way
I was
too
told
young.
them that she was here because I was going to replace you with her.
Well, that's fine.
Who am I gonna be? Vivian?
And
Potiphar.
Bring it.
So,
What if
Bring
you
it.
just say, Allie, you know what?
That
I'm
would
gonna
be
do
a
it.
very interesting
Potiphar.
response from the audience when you have a lesbian moment
Yes, I want to
during
be
Potiphar's song.
I'm going to play Deja Vu.
No, you look like you were smoking a little Potiphar earlier.
I got home last night.
With that beanie on, which I'm mad about.
Oh, did you guys call each other beforehand?
Right, what is this one?
I went to Evil Dead last night, so I didn't
How
get
was
home
that?
till
Town
3.
Square.
Let's talk about it.
We'll
Can we talk about it?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I would like to have. Well, I mean, I have to be
You always
really
have
nice.
odds
I want to hear about it.
like
No,
Because I turned it down.
It's not the same
really
show.
It is what we can do.
In a good way or not a good way?
Yeah, it's
There's
there's
some
you gotta
things
wait
that work really well, and
go hot and then go back to
and
cooking.
again, I'm sure we'll talk about it during the second.
What are we doing?
Second.
Yeah, we will
I went to Evil Dead.
Oh, Evil
last
Dead!
night.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I got home at 3 in the morning, took a shower. My towel still came off pink. This is because I did not do my hair this afternoon.
You are not coiffed.
Oh, I'm coiffed, but I'm coiffed in the same way that buckwheat would be coiffed.
You got 60 seconds.
Did you hear her?
No.
Is it your hair in the back long enough to make a messy pony?
That's
What
long.
do you do when you want to do your hair?
It's long enough in the back to have a mullet, so.
I forgot how short your hair was in Little Shop. I saw the
Oh, it
poster
was
and I was like,
completely buzzed. Yeah. The only reason I have it long is for this show. And then as soon as the show's over,
30 seconds.
getting cut,
Cool.
and I'll get new headshots done. With
Yeah,
How do you like this one?
That lady, man,
Jennifer.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That lady's
already
ridiculous.
started.
I want to do pictures with her. I just
listen to
can't
this
afford
next
her.
one.
Okay.
I
I'll
thought she
play
did
this
some
one.
for you.
Nah. I get free photos, son.
Well, whoever was taking your photos recently did a damn good job too.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
She made me.
No, but she's a
She
cult
made me
now.
an
Everyone's
incredible
calling her.
deal. She was like, "I just raised my rates, but here, have this rate because you know everyone. I was like, okay, I'll promote you. Let's go.
Nice. So wait, do I get that rate?
Oh my God! You're listening to Curtain Call with Eric.
That's awesome.
Love it.
That's right. Bring it home, Maggie Wheeler.
You know, we should have our guests do stingers first as well.
Before you leave, we're going to do a stinger.
Yeah, but I want to hear Jen go,
It'll sound like a dolphin.
Who did that? Was that you? That was pretty good.
That was Gidget over there.
I do that like every rehearsal.
I never heard that before.
When goat, and I'm always making noises backstage.
Well, thanks for tuning back in. This is Curtain Call with Eric Ball. We're sitting here with Terrence Williams, Jenn De La Torre, and Elizabeth Matthews. Jen and Terrence are part of Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
And Liz is just here because
Liz
she's
is
awesome.
here because she's awesome. And we're talking about the Super Summer Theater musical that's opening not this upcoming week, but the following week. And you can get your tickets right now if you're interested. You can go to Showtix4U. That's SHOWTIX, the number 4U.com. And you can get your tickets in advance, print them out, present them at the gate.
$12 a piece.
$12. Or you can go to UNLVboxoffice.com and get them there.
And I think Super Summer Theater's website is back up, so you can get the tickets through their website as well. But if you really like spending the extra $8 per ticket,
I love
you can
that.
certainly go to the gate.
Spending extra money?
Yeah,
That's for me.
No.
Because they're $20 at the gate, and guaranteed.
I can't sit across from Liz because she makes me laugh at every turn. It makes me laugh. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's fine.
It's $20 at the door. Basically, it's $20 at the door, $12 in advance. So get them in advance. That's what we're trying to say.
Well, you don't want to show up at the gate all alone and be turned away and have to drive all the way back into town because it's sold out.
Yeah, you want to do it in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you love the arts, take your $20 and go. Well, just support the arts.
We've said it. Yeah, and we've said it a million times that Super Summer Theater is such a fun experience, not only to perform at, but to go watch shows because it's out on the lawn. It's beautiful out there. The August show,
I would say, is the most comfortable show.
Yeah,
I would argue.
Not too hot, not too cold. It's just Goldilocks.
It really is. You know, the bats are in full bloom. I say that
You love bats.
I love the bats.
The donkeys are in full bloom.
No, the bats, though, are really cool. People freak out. They go like, there's bats out there. Guys, just don't freak out, okay? But they are cool. There's every now and then there'll be a bat in here, and you'll be like, why aren't we doing Dracula the musical? I don't know.
I want to do Bat Boy the musical. Whoever's listening, I want to do Bat Boy the musical.
No, they haven't done Bat Boy in a long, long time.
It should be revived, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years ago or something.
Has that been that one?
All right, I'm making a note.
No? Okay.
I'm making a note. Bat Boy the musical.
Yeah, I don't go to Faith Lutheran, so it doesn't help me, Eric.
Yeah, we're doing Bat Boy the musical at Faith Lutheran. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, what's that one about? Right after we do Urinetown, a musical about pee.
No, you'll have to do Pee Pee Town.
I mean, come on.
It's a musical
Wait,
about not.
that's what we should do. We should do the show live from my principal's office the day that I propose the shows. That is a show in itself.
Or the day you turn in your resignation.
Yeah, it's really. You should have seen me pitch Sweeney Todd that one year. It was.
Did you really?
I did. I really did. I really. And now here's the thing. I'm not going to bash my administration because they're lovely people. But They always
very
wind up
supportive.
They wind up with the argument of there's so many great musicals out there. Why are we arguing over one that could potentially turn away audience members? And I was like, oh, you got a good point. And then I can go back with my... I always have like 12 shows that I would love to direct, so I can never say that I'm very disappointed. But at the same time, it's like, no, this is glorifying a serial killer. And I was like, what show on television doesn't now?
Well, the evening news, I don't want to...
yeah.
But I'm sure there's a... Are you sure?
Eating
the
meat pies.
No, the high school,
pretend they're
the high
Hot
school
Pockets
version of
for-
Sweeney Todd. The high school version of Sweeney Todd's got to be something like he gives everyone,
He gives everyone a hug.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd I do? No! Stop it! Stop it! What'd I hit?
You're listening to Curtain Call with Eric Ball. And
No, listen. Listen, this mouse, I can't, I just hit the mouse and it just kind of
I was ready for that.
That's why I never do anything with my left hand over here. It's because it's just, it's menacing. My right hand is like I'm right-handed, so it's all powerful. This one's just like a nuisance Tyrannosaurus Rex on. It just sits here.
Actually, I wanted to do rehearsal
like
last
Bob
week.
Dole over here just sitting here.
I wanted to do a Go-Go Joseph as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I wanted to have that rehearsal as a Tyrannosaurus, because, dude, Go-Go, you can't see it. And
please stand up and do that. That was ridiculous.
Weren't you there on that Friday that we did a crack up for her?
Oh, yeah. But, no, this was like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
We should get back on track. This is we were talking about Joseph.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did this. I thought we went to commercial because your left hand, your T-Rex hand,
my T-Rex hand
hit the mouse, and we went into commercial break already again.
No, we didn't. I just
went into you can't say that on a radio mode.
Yeah. Good thing that you didn't say anything ludicrous. Now, we're sitting here talking with Terrence Williams and Jenn De La Torre and Elizabeth Matthews, and mostly involved in Joe's Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I slurred that because I'm so excited. Actually, you were just in next fall that just closed, correct? Liz was just finished up a play over. Now that was over at the Onyx. Yeah. How'd that go?
That was for Sin City Sisters benefit.
Mm-hmm. It was a benefit for the Sin City Sisters. And
who put a nickel in Liz?
That's her radio.
I'm in work mode.
No, so the Sin City Sisters. I don't know if you guys even know who they are.
I do.
Or what they are. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, they're fun.
They dress like nuns.
Mm-hmm.
They have white faces.
Yeah,
they're
very masculine.
Start at the beginning.
Okay, everybody stop talking.
Because he started talking about Ringling Brothers. Now we're talking about nuns and white face makeup. And I'm
nuns and
confused.
white faces. Okay, sorry. Okay. Anyway, I digress. No, so
wow.
See, now I'm old too.
No.
Okay, so what they do is they have this shtick where they're men who dress as nuns.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they raise money to buy AIDS medication for people who can't afford it, and so then they go deliver that to people afflicted with AIDS. And so that's what our show was to benefit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, seriously, if you think about it, we can probably make a whole plethora of jokes about people dressing up in nun costumes. But if you think about the reason, the kind of noble acts behind it, it's actually a great foundation. It's a great organization that's putting things in place where there needs to be things put in place, and it's a great. And you know what? I got to give them kudos for putting positive and fun spins on things too.
And they're
fabulous.
And they look good.
Yeah.
They are definitely fabulous.
The best looking nuns in the city, I would argue. Is that too far?
No.
Okay.
Do you have nuns at Faith Lutheran?
No.
Okay, good. Because that could be very offensive to them.
No nuns at Lutheran nuns.
I don't know. I'm so far removed from religion.
Anyways, so yeah, you finished up.
Yeah, we just wrapped it last night.
That's awesome. How'd that go?
It went well. It's a great show, and any type of theater that you're able to. Well, I mean, I guess you could argue this for all theater, but that you're able to cause the audience to have a strong emotional reaction, I think you've succeeded. And the last scene is a tearjerker, and we had people come up and say, because it's a show about dealing with homosexuality and Christianity. And, we had people come up and say, I can finally come out to my parents now, or thank you, that's exactly what I dealt with, or whatever. So it's just awesome to be able to inspire and strike that into people.
I always say that the best type of theater is one that educates and entertains. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like anytime that you...
Edutains! Yeah.
Edutains.
I'm excited by that because that's what I do.
Kind of, and allow me to kind of bring this around full circle. Both you and Jen have both worked in, kind of the, I don't want to say fringe, but more eclectic straight plays, and also fluffy musical theater, however you want to define that. As you finish up your run in that show, and as you look forward to starting a run of more contemporary, Broadway style musical. What would you say are like some kind of hurdles for each one? I mean, do you prepare the same way for that? I mean, I know my answer, but I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you have to prepare the same way for something that's widely considered kind of a fun musical? I mean, I know Terrence is doing a great deal, major efforts to make sure that this is a very differently approached musical.
Well, and this is a very coveted role that Jen has.
Well, and I would argue that if you're a fan of the original, you'll love it. But if you whether you like it or not, you are going to be surprised at this version of Joseph.
Jen's got a fantastic voice, which obviously is known because you wouldn't have been cast in it anyways. But Terrence, I don't know how many people you had, auditioning, but now that Jen has the role, there's been a lot of preparation that has to be done, and obviously, not to shortchange Liz because you do have to prepare for dramatic roles. And I said last week that it was a very natural role for you in next fall. Very, very little preparation. I'm sure.
I just needed to learn my lines.
Yeah.
It was my character.
Yeah.
So it was very natural, very fun.
And I would argue that there's and just knowing Jen personally, there are elements of the narrator that are very much like you. But what did you have to do to kind of get into this?
Well, first of all, I love rock musicals. Like anybody knows me knows that I love I lean towards more the alternative rock musicals. In fact, like the first musical I ever did was Jesus Christ Superstar, and I'm huge.
Are you doing hair just to diverge a little bit?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right, back. All right,
and,
go on.
Hopefully, someday. So the challenge was doing my thing, being Jen and rocking out, which is what I love to do. But remembering that it is musical theater and wanting to stay true to the music, so that's my personal challenge. So I want to be true to
And that's hard because the way that we're doing the music,
and how he wrote it and how it is traditionally done. But just sort of rock out and.
Are you there yet?
So I mix in a little bit of different styles, like.
I always love to know where they're at in the process because
I would ask you the same question because you have, as Pharaoh, you have a couple of songs that you're having to belt out there, and I know at least with what I'm singing, the monitors in our rehearsal space have been loud, so it's going to be interesting this week where we're actually going to have a little bit more balance with the sound.
Well, I can tell you from my perspective, my biggest challenge has been breathing. You know what I mean? Like learning how to, because I'm not used to singing that way. I'm used to singing a more traditional musical theater style. My voice has been, that's the majority of my canon, is I've done that style. So to break that style and do it a different way, I was surprised to find that I can do it a different way. Boy, does it interrupt my breathing. It disrupts my whole groove as to how I normally breathe. Mm-hmm. And so I've had to relearn that. That was my biggest thing. So that's just me personally. It's very technical.
Well, we have a live band. We're the only show that's going to have a band.
It's so awesome.
Which is super awesome. We're not married to tracks. I'm thankful that we have the option of using tracks, just to save costs or whatnot, and rehearse with. And that's great. But I definitely am excited about being with a live band, and that's.
And can I just say that the musicians in the band, I'm going to just right here and then shout out to y'all because take my hats off. They are fantastic. It sounds like you're at a rock concert. It really does.
We still need a name for the band. I don't know.
No. We are going.
I thought you came up with one already.
We did, but Terrence has been kind of just like.
I love the name.
Here's my issue. You can name the band anything you want. But the problem is, if I were actually going to build them as it, I need to be able to print it on a drum head. And the first name I heard from you guys is too long to fit on
it's
a drum
great
head.
Glenn, please.
The Sarcophagi.
The Sarcophagi.
You tried telling that to Daniel on piano, and he didn't know what you were talking about.
The keyboard player's like, what's a
And he's such a nice guy. And he's just like smiling, oh yeah, I like it.
Well, there was another one. Jamie in the cast came up with another one.
Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs?
I don't know.
That's
a real.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But it was pretty funny. But they are quite phenomenal. And, there's something about live music. I too know that there's a place in theater for the track accompaniment. I know there is, especially with the economy and with many factors. I would never, besmirch the efforts of a musician because I understand that that's a different world, and to marry the two is a process in itself.
And besmirching is rude.
Yeah, it really is. And so the fact that we have like these live musicians that are just so, and they're into it too. You can watch them during the show, and they're just as much into it as the actors, and so it's really cool.
Well, they're performing their way as well. And
did you have to audition them too, or did you kind of handpick people you knew?
Our drummer is someone who's played with me for a number of shows and very reliable and really great skills. So he was he had been asking me about the show months in advance. Hey, can I play Joseph? Can I play Joseph? How exciting to have someone who's like dying to get in there. And then the others were, just a lot of searching, and times have changed. I used to have to bring people in to audition for me. YouTube is an amazing service. So I had musician videos.
Nice.
Did you consider playing bass yourself?
I did.
For about how long?
The problem is I played bass since I was in the 7th grade, and without telling you how old I am, that was a long time ago. So I'm picky.
I wish I could play
and bass is an important line in the music because oftentimes it helps you actually keep your rhythm. So I wanted a bassist who could play what we had down and actually be better than I am. And we found someone that I feel is better than I am, and that was kind of my criteria.
That's awesome.
Otherwise, I'd be trying to figure out how to direct and play at the same time.
Yeah, and you know something, it's interesting too because we had instrumentation tracks for rehearsal for the longest time, and when we get anytime you're rehearsing with a certain set of resources, you get used to it. You get used to it.
You know when that person in the background is going to say rehearssul track.
Right.
We didn't have that for this one,
obviously. But
it's Jameson Boyce, right?
You get used to it.
I mean, the tracks that were provided.
Didn't you give her a name one time?
Yeah, I think we did. I don't remember.
Did you call her Pam or something?
Pam. I think we called the rehearsal tracks lady Pam. But anyways, I was like, oh.
Do you think she gets paid per instance of that?
I bet she gets a royalty.
Do you think so?
10 cents. 10 cents a disc.
Do you think? Or it's like we're gonna pay you $50 to say rehearsal tracks one time.
That's who we should get to do the stingers for curtain call.
Because
this is the rehearsal tracks lady Pam.
Well, I wonder because completely off topic again, which is what I love to do. And I wish I could remember his name, but a friend of mine in Pittsburgh was the big giant head for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Zordon!
And he got paid.
Dear God, of course she knows.
He got paid one time for that, and they used his big head for years and years, and he only got paid,
read your contracts very carefully, kiddos. Always make sure that you get on merchandising. Merchandising! Always make sure you get
I was the voice of Six Flags theme parks nationwide for 2 years. And I made what I thought was great money, and I look back now and go, I got gypped! So...
can you say something that...
Welcome to Six Flags over Texas! Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Please keep your hands and feet inside the horse at all times.
Oh my gosh.
He was...
Gross.
I thought for a second...
Hands and feet inside the horse.
Yeah, and you come back with the...
Buenos dias.
Punto cinco, uno Mexico.
Willkommen.
I don't even know what that meant. I thought you were going to say you were the bald guy at the bus going dee 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 dee. No?
No, that would have been awesome.
I've never been to Six Flags over Texas.
Nobody remembers that commercial.
Apparently there's a bald guy. There's a bald guy there?
Each park has a different voice for their announcements.
But you said you were nationwide.
So I sat down in a studio for 2 weeks and recorded every recording for every park nationwide.
In different accents?
And it's funny.
In different voices for every single one. The only one that uses my actual voice is the one in Georgia.
Aww. Did you have to do a
You
female?
would think there would be some kind of southern thing going on there, like,
Did you have
welcome to Six Flags over Georgia, but no.
Did you have to do something for San Francisco area? Did you have to...
Pull up a mint julep. Have yourself a seat.
Slow down spell. So, no, nothing like that. Just different, like, they had a director who would work with you on the type of voicing he wanted, and then you had to be able to maintain that voice for that entire session.
Interesting.
So,
I was
be
the
like,
voice.
No, it's slipping. You gotta get back in there.
You need to post that up on YouTube. If
I would love to listen to that on
All
YouTube. I was the voice of the Shooting Stars marching band at Tecumseh High School. That was me. When they took it to the field, when they took it to the field, I was like, and now here's your Shooting Stars marching band, and they would bum 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 bum, and they come out and did formation, and then I would go.
Yeah, I did some stuff for like Pittsburgh National Bank in their internal training stuff. So I never got to hear any of it. I did a Books on Tape. I got to hear that one, and it sounds weird. So
I've always wanted to do a book. Oh no, I did do a voiceover for a game. It was like a cartoony game, and I was a raccoon and a turtle and something else. I can't remember. I never heard it.
I don't know. I did my interpretation of Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey on last week's
thinking
episode.
about that. I'm sitting
Do
here with
it.
the biggest grin.
Oh no!
I
can't. You can't. No, we'd have to go. We'd have to have silent air because 50 Shades of Grey has a lot of
Her luscious vagina.
You just say that?
You can say vagina.
Can you?
I'm sure we can.
Ask the federal
Really? Because I've been wanting to say vagina for weeks.
We've been holding back on vagina this whole time.
So then there was Glenn, and he wanted to say vagina.
I give you permission.
I don't know. I don't do it justice, but there's the YouTube video of Gilbert Gottfried reading 50 Shades of Grey. Why don't you have a vagina?
Saying it.
The ladies are uncomfortable with that word.
You know,
it just occurred to me we told the children's choir of Joseph to tune in.
Oh wow! Nice. Yeah.
So anyways, when
a
mommy and daddy loves each other very much.
I just have to ask Liz why she feels so awkward because there's 4 of us in this room that were all in the same Rocky Horror Show cast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good point. Terrence and I were
plenty of awkward stuff.
And you have seen my lady bits, probably.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. Yes, ma'am. I've seen
malfunction.
Well, hey, in the honest
with the
theater,
exception of our intern. Yes, I've seen all of your lady bits. It's
wait a second. You have not seen
You
my
have
lady
not
bits.
seen my
no,
lady
no,
bits.
no.
Terrence is like.
Okay, I don't want to see Eric's or Terrence's.
How the heck did we get on this subject?
Because you allowed me to say vagina. That's how.
We were talking about 6 Flags 2 moments ago.
Let's get back to Jesus now, shall we?
Hallelujah.
Oh yes, let's talk about Jesus. Okay, kitties. So anyway, Super Summer Theater. Super Summer Theater is
say it now.
Is presenting. We actually need to take another break.
Super Summer Theater is presenting the vagina monologue.
No. It's certainly not. Yeah, we're doing Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor.
Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Vagina.
We'll be right back in just a minute.
All I can tell you is that you know this.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. Let's count the seconds until
playing the
Christy
Deja
Miller
Vu
calls
right
my
now.
cell phone.
I'm playing the Deja Vu commercial right now.
Nice.
What's that?
I'm playing the Deja Vu commercial right now.
I'm waiting for Christy Miller to ring.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh.
Where's the Technicolor Vagina?
That's what the band should be called.
Mangina.
Bandgina. Bandgina.
I love it.
Oh, Lord.
In the program they listed as the rock band. They use the rock band.
Another brand.
We'll do a minute and then we'll go right back in. Let's
No,
go
you
back in.
pessimist.
Because we're doing good.
The reality is it's always full even now. It's
Yeah,
half
let me
full
pour
of
it in
liquid
mine
and
and then
half
you
full of
have
air.
it.
So
Yeah, it's always full.
exactly.
And air is a fluid as well. So.
30 seconds.
Those aren't coffees.
Mm-hmm.
They are coffee.
They are coffee. I'm about to blow your mind, son.
Yeah, that's why I love it this year.
Oh, green coffee.
It's green coffee.
Or purple.